Welcome to the Freshtoday Wexford Football League show. Aidan and Nicky, we're back again. Very relaxed looking this evening again.
And in the nice and warm out of that miserable weather, Aidan.
In bad old weather, and I suppose it's having its effect on the league as well, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, it is. If I took £1 for every phone call or text message I received about the Astro this week now, it'd be a lot easier than trying to sell pints, but
I'd
look,
say
the weather.
it's good for selling pints too. Everyone wants to be on the high stool on a day like today.
I know it's too close after Christmas. the money's still not flowing around yet, Aidan. But no, look at the weather's been terrible, hasn't it? It's took a massive, heavy effect on pitches, and like you don't really blame clubs for not really allowing games on the cost of maintaining and trying to get pitches ready this time. Throughout a whole season, it's crazy. So, it's been a tough couple of weeks on clubs.
Yeah, something used to drive me soft. People say, "Oh, the pitch is playable. Why aren't we playing?" And I said, "Yeah, we're playing it now, though. It won't be playable for another 2 weeks after it." And as you said, I think clubs are putting too much money into pitches now to be ruining them for the sake of one game, and especially now if we go through the leagues later on, there all the leagues are well advanced. There's no need. In the Premier League teams only 8, 9 games left, and we're not in the middle of January yet, nearly.
No, and I know a lot of cup games, and we still have FAI to come on board. But look, at the FAI is going to be very, very small this year. From what I'm led to believe, I'd say there'll be very, very few clubs in Wexford participating in it. So look, you're right. The pitches, look, everybody wants to get back out, get playing, and things like that. But maintaining, marking, trying to get a pitch ready, you're dead right. And like, for the sake of a game 90 minutes, you could close a pitch for a month, 2 months, and then again a pitch might not recover until the summertime when you get the growth going. We're looking at probably another 2 or 3 weeks where the weather will be kind of bad. This is not going to last forever or anything like that.
It feels like this weekend could be another
this weekend, and look, you'll have probably halfway into February. But then we normally get a dry spell. It might be cold and things like that, but we'll get a dry spell. Pitches will harden up enough for games to be played. Yeah,
look, we're going to start in the Premier, where actually we had a full round of 5 games. First game to start was Gorey. I suppose the big standout in that game was Paul Murphy back in the starting lineup for Gorey after a stint away in the League of Ireland. Massive signing for Gorey.
Yeah, well, look, he left Wexford that time, possibly the best player in Wexford.
When they won the league.
When they won the league, and went up and tried his hand, and was quite successful up with Bray, done really well. I suppose towards the end of last year he was in and out of the team. So look, he's a massive addition to not only to Gorey, but a massive addition back into the Wexford Football League. Players of his calibre coming back is always good.
Yeah, he's still young, only 28, so he still have a lot to offer. Maybe it's only, I don't know anything, maybe it's only a stopgap, maybe till something else. Maybe he's looking to go back in the League of Ireland, but he'll definitely improve Gorey massively, won't he? Doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Just even looking through the Gorey team, like, he's slotted straight back in, and you look at Casso right back, looked like Ryan Cullen was left back, and Paul Murphy and Steve Maloney. Like, not only were the stopping goals from going in, the Casso and Maloney got in the score sheets as well. So
big win for Gorey. Ferns, who had been doing well. I think the goals were in the second half, weren't they?
Yeah, it was 0-0 for quite a while, yeah. According to the app, anyway.
Yeah, and look, we had Goggy in here with me a couple of weeks ago. He was adamant that Gorey and North End will go on a run and be the 2 again. It is kind of maybe looking like 2 of them are going on the run before Celtic don't look like they're going to go anywhere else. Everyone else looks like they're after dropping off.
Yeah, no, I definitely look at. I always knew, and I said Gorey, and even you were saying to me a couple of weeks ago about Rovers being in a title run in. I felt it was going to come down to North End and Gorey. I still do think it'll come down to North End and Gorey. Fort Celtic are in a similar position to what you were a few years ago, Aidan. If Rovers were to stay in it, I think they'd have a better chance of winning it. And it'll also come down, a lot of it will fall down on Patrick Whitty's shoulders. If North End and Gorey are to play each other before Fort Celtic play, they could knock one of each other out of it. So Because a defeat to any along the line now, I think a defeat to either Northend, Gorey or Fort Celtic might be too much of a gap for any of them to catch up. Outside of the top 2 or 3,
Yeah, I think it's safe to say it's a 3-horse race now, especially after Courtown beating Shamrocks 2-1 at the weekend. The game you're up at?
Yeah, game. I'll be honest with you, I left it late to check the app. I didn't think a whole lot of games were going to go ahead, so I was quite surprised as many of them did go ahead. But I left it late. I kind of got caught then. I just got up and got the Rovers game. Rovers were quite comfortable, I thought, in the first half. Second half then gave away a very sloppy goal, a very unusual mistake from Lee Murphy in the goal. But after that, I didn't see Rovers really doing a whole lot more to get into it, to be honest. And they'll be very, very disappointed coming out of it, getting beaten 2-1. But in fairness to Courtown, I thought they looked really well organised, defended really well last 15-20 minutes of the game, and they looked like they were well organised. And in fairness, that's one thing, Tony McCarthy was very, very well organised.
He was with Gorey.
With Gorey, so I would presume Tony has come in and helped Paul Sheridan do that.
Yeah, and then we had, Wexford Bows, heavy defeat again to Fort Celtic. They've made a few signings, I suppose. Dara Maloney in from Northend's a massive signing from, but they'll need to start picking up wins. On Fort, I know you were saying you fancy SB between the two of them. I don't. I think it'll be between the three of them. I think it'll go right to the wire with the three of them. And all Fort is going to have to do to have to keep their heads down. They're going to listen to people like us and everyone else around saying it's Gorey Northend, but they just have to keep winning games. The thing for me is they're winning games, but they're winning them comfortably. Yeah. That's why I would...
No, I really hope. And
I think like 3-0 up the week before against Crossbeg. I know Crossbeg came back and I'm talking to Joe and they could have stuck at a draw, but another 4-1 win at the weekend. They have goal scorers and Northend have goal scorers, but in fairness, you mentioned him here last week, and I think Goggy actually said there that he was worried about they mightn't have goal scorers, but I don't know if he had looked at the stats, because in the Ryan Busher on 11 and Jack Milan with, you mentioned him here last week with 10, or Mullen.
Yeah, no, look at Jack was on the score sheet again this week.
Scored the first one, yeah.
So they're big results. In fairness to him, and look at it was a big result against Wexford Bows. I'm sure the Bows lads would have landed down there on a bit of a buzz, seeing Keane McCarthy and Darren Maloney and Burn Maloney getting tug out, and it looked like that Bows team, like when you go through it, you have O'Leary in the goal, Shea O'Leary, Kyle Mann, Jay Lenston, should I say, and the two extra boys after signing. So it looks like a decent team on paper. So it would have been a tough game for Fort Celtic to go down. Jack Mullen, Ryan Busher, they will get you goals. They're not just they're not just. I was just about to say they're not just relying on Adam Beery. Cahill Dowd probably hasn't got as many goals as he popped up with last year. So I'm sure his form will turn maybe on the run in. And I really like Fort Celtic. They kind of, I like the way they play. Like I wouldn't say they're direct, but they're able to mix it up. They can be physical in parts of the game, and without being dirty. And I don't mean them to be a physical team. I'm not saying that they're dirty or anything like that, but they're able to play to win the tackle, and I like the way they play. So I'd like to see him in and around it. I know the bet Bows 4-1, but I can kind of see him just slipping up in one of the games that I don't see Northend and Gorey doing it. So I hope I'm wrong, but I just think. And
then Cora in the relegation battle, 2-0 up again to mine at half time, and then lose the game 4-2. That'll be a big blow to them. Then Northend beat Bunclody 6-0. I don't like saying it, but I think Bunclody are gone, isn't it?
Bunclody are gone. There's not a hope for them. Like Bunclody have only 7 games left. There's 6 points out of it. They haven't won any in 13. They have no chance of winning 2, 3, 4 even to get out of it. 4, maybe 5 games to get out of it in their last 7. It'd be a miracle. For me, Bunclody are gone, and I gotta be honest with you. I think the 2 relegation spots are going to be gone. I don't see I don't see Cork getting out of it. Now, they have a big game against Shamrock Rovers this weekend to try and pick up a win, but for me, Cork are something similar, 1-11, where they're going to put together a run of 3 or 4 wins between now and the end of the season. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
I see Cortown. I was quite impressed with Cortown. I see Ferns getting stronger. I think Crossabeg have enough points on the table. I see Boas getting that bit stronger with the signings. So I just don't see Cork or Bunclody surviving. So
Yeah.
I don't.
I suppose just a quick word on North End. Last 3 games now, 16 goals scored in the league, none conceded. And then game before that, the bet New Oak and Leinster starting to hit form. I think the big thing for me this week, the bet the mine last week, 5-0. Probably, you could argue, looking from the outside in, it was probably their strongest 11, and he just went with that same 11 this week. Didn't bring in maybe fellas that start maybe be knocking on his door. Just went with the team that won, and that is a winning formula, in fairness, ain't it?
Well, look at you. We both know consistency, Aidan, and when you're losing your chop, you change and things like that. But in fairness to Gary, he has conviction. He's starting the 11, as you said. They hammered Shamrock Rovers before Christmas. They hammered the mine after Christmas, and they've hammered Bunclody. So why should he change if them lads are fit and available and they're doing the job? The thing I fear for the other clubs is, for years North End were playing catch up in games. This year now, I think North End will have a week in between nearly every single game. So if Gary wants to put out his best 11, he can put out his best 11 between now and the end of the season, barring suspension and injury. So I will fear for the other clubs on that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Probably the farm team at the moment. 3 of them are, in fairness, Fort Celtic, North End and Gorey. We're going to just quick look at Division 1 because we looked at it last week and very little happening there. Gorey beating Ratnewer 2-1 and All Blacks losing out to 5-1 to Ballymurn. Not really happening at the top of the table there. I suppose if you do look at Gorey's lineup, it looks a strong lineup that could be maybe getting a push to get out of that relegation.
Yeah.
Division 2, same, we'd very little, losing it now again, I mean. We'd only the 2 games in it. Ajax beating Fastnet 3-2 and then Fort Celtic beating Clabon. Again, doesn't really change much at the top at Rosslare. Fastnet, alright, gets within a point of Rosslare, but Rosslare with 2 games in hand brings Ajax up maybe to fight with that 3rd spot with Rovers. Yeah,
a big win for Ajax, in fairness. It was a massive dint now for Fastnet. Like as we said, I think Rosslare Rangers are going to run away with it, but it was a big dint for Fastnet, but a great win for Ajax.
In Division 3 then, we did have 4 games in that. Bridge Rovers dropped still on defeat in that division, but dropped another 2 points with a draw to Adamstown home. It's supposed to be disappointed with that. Rosstown, who are on their heels, good 5-3 win against Bunclody. Ferns 0-0 with Curraclaw, and Rosslare Strand beating Gorey Celtic 5-2. Still hard to look for me. Still hard to look by Bridge in that. I know Blackwater actually with a heavy defeat in the Leinster Junior Shield last weekend to Stradbally. Probably a bit of surprise, but I think that Stradbally are supposed to be a strong old outfit.
Yeah, in fairness, Stradbally, I think they've knocked out a couple of big hitters, and they came back down to Blackwater the weekend and came away with a really, really good win. Look, there's going to be very little, I think, between Blackwater and Bridge Rovers in that. I think Blackwater are more than capable of winning their games in hand and bringing that right to a 2-horse race. It was a big win for Rosslare Strand. They haven't got off to a great start yet this year. Yeah. For a club that was absolutely flying at scoring goals for fun over the last couple of years. They're still scoring quite a few goals, but the results haven't gone their way. But that was a big win the weekend for them, and brings them up out of the relegation. Yeah,
3-8 then. We just had the 2 games. Wexford Celtic winning 4-3 against Barntown, and the Mine 2 wins in a row for them, beating Cortown 2-1.
You've been very quiet about the Mine this year, B team, Aidan, yourself.
Quietly going about it, because not
Peter Marsden and Timmins.
Peter and John are doing a great job. They've great numbers. You always tell us how good managers are. To me, it's not really about results. It's about if you go to their train sessions.
What's it about then?
If you go to train session on Tuesday night and see how many turn up, and they're getting their full 20 up every Tuesday night. So
if they had the full 20 up every Tuesday night and they were last in the division, you'd be saying, well, at least they've 20 training.
For a B team, yeah, it's about
competing. Will you? I tell you that.
You do anything to get a dig of poor old Mars than you would.
No.
Anyway,
I'm just saying, I was the one who brought up saying they were doing really, really well. And in fairness to Peter and Timmins,
they're going into third there now. Cormac's game is in hand. Wexford Celtic have a good few games in hand. Wexford Celtic are on second there. Them are 4 points behind Fort Celtic. It's Fort Celtic's third team, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good team. That one. PJ Bamanal's playing that one as well.
Yep.
So yeah, look, you're looking probably 4-horse race there for the 3 spots between Cormac's, the Mine, Wexford Celtic and Fort Celtic. Probably between Wexford Celtic maybe and Fort for the title.
I think Cormac's could have a say in it. Like if they're a young enough side, they're also been playing quite well over the last couple of years, and they promoted last year, so they know what it takes to see it out. Fort Celtic probably just shared it with their experience and things like that, but it's good to see Wexford Celtic back on the up. Their club, we spoke about them in here before, and in fairness, it's good to see the Mine lads back up, because the B team has kind of struggled. They were up Division 1 a couple of years ago,
and then we had to pull it out for a year.
Yeah, so it's good to see it, and fair play to Marsden and Timmins. John stepping back down from the A team last year to go in, and they've done a good job. Division
4 then we had a full round of games in that. Unbeaten Coraclaw 3-0, 3-all between the Town, Enniscorthy Town and the Balloch, 2-0 for Bridge Rovers against Bowes, Kilteely 1-0 against Cushenstown. Ross Celtic beating Feathered 6-0, tip of the tail Kilteely. 11 games played, 10 wins, only defeat. They're doing really well out there. They're really pushing on to win that Timon. Again, a little bit surprised to see Timon down that low, I suppose, but one extra game played, the point behind, they'll be in it. Bridge Rovers again. Our second team doing well as well.
No, look, it's funny that the likes of Bridge Rovers, first team and second team doing quite well, and sometimes like if one of the teams going well, it drags the other team with them. And just if you go back a division, if you look at Bunclody struggling and their second team struggling, where for the last couple of years Bunclody's B team have been going really well. So when it gets into a club, it can be tough, but it's going well for Bridge Rovers there this year. Kilteely surprised me last year, but not in a good way. I thought they were going to go really well last year, and I didn't really look at them this year at the start of the season because they were a bit disappointing. But they're absolutely flying it this year, in fairness to them. And I was actually talking to Barry Whelan before you picked me up, the Enniscorthy Town manager, and we were talking about that Division 4 there, and he was just saying to me that Barry would have played up the divisions throughout his own playing career, and he was surprised how tough down that division is. Not only physically, but he says the football that is played down in it has been very interesting, and he said he's had to abandon some of his tactics that he thought he was going to get away with at the start of the year. So at least he has a plan B, but it's good to hear as well. Yeah,
and 4A then we only had the 3 games, but top of the table, and that's probably a 4-horse race maybe not as well. Campile on top at 25, Castle Arkle 2 points behind them with 3 games in hand. Cora 22 points out of 10. KM 19 out of 10 might be in about.
Yeah,
I suppose you can't look. It's hard to look past Castle Arkle in it. The players they have, and
I was talking to a couple of the lads down in Campile. They played Campile Saturday evening, down there under the lights, and they were talking about Brian Robin and Young Ivers, the centre midfield, and they said the two of them chaps could grace any Premier or First Division team. The lads said the Campile didn't really have a whole lot to answer to them. They were really, really good, and they were the difference between the two teams. You'd be looking at Castle Dockrell. You would have them to be right off favourites at this stage, and then it'll be a big battle then from there on in. Yeah, look. No, thanks, Nick. We'll have a big look at Division 5 next week, because 2 of them divisions are very interesting. I want to give them a bit more time. To 2 lowest divisions, but there have been 2 more very competitive. It's we're in the middle of January. It's always a tricky time for clubs to make sure the players come back after Christmas, and then you lose your 2 or 3 games maybe after Christmas, and you could be out of a league to keep them going for the cup. I suppose I think we have the cup draws next week, don't we? We're hoping to get in and do the cup draws next week. All right. Barn the Weather plays ball, and he gets a lot of the other games played this week. We'll finish up with the usual message: get out and watch a game in the Wexford Football League this week. It's good quality, and people really putting an effort on the field and off the field to make sure these games go ahead. So thanks, Nicky. It's been a pleasure. See you next week. Good luck.